Last year we talked about the Z06. Last year was kind of the year of the Z06. We did a whole bunch of upgrades. We're doing more of that this year. Magnetic selective ride was part of the Z07 package last year, so you had to pay a lot of money because it was packaged with ceramic brakes. So it's a very expensive option. But F55, or magnetic selective ride, is an extremely powerful tool, and based on customer pull, people would like to get that without necessarily having to go to those top-line brakes. So for much less money, you can get that as an option on the Z06. You can get the cup wheel, we call it. It's a pretty special wheel design. And PTM, the pioneering technology we introduced on the ZR1, and now we're bringing it down to other markets or other models. It's been reviewed at by quite a number of third-party media, and pretty uniformly they come away impressed with the system. Pretty uniformly they find that they're faster on the track with the system on than the system off. Next slide. Of course, the Z07, which is the top-level Z06 performance chassis package, we're now able to upgrade. Of course, you still get the ceramic brakes. You get red calipers. We're going to talk about cup tires in a second, Michelin cup tires. But this is the most aggressive chassis we're going to offer. So the Z06 with the Z07 gets those tires. Of course, the magnetic selective ride, PTM, a full width style spoiler, and one thing we learned as we were developing the tires is you have to do that in combination with the aerodynamic package. You have to generate more downforce from the aero package to make the tires work very well. Okay, that's for the Z06. For the ZR1, we also have cup tires. Now I'm going to talk about cup tires a little bit, but they're not for everybody. They are for the hardcore, track-oriented, performance-minded folks. They're very specialized tires, so we're separating, even on the ZR1, the king of the hill, you're still going to have the Michelin PS2s, and you're going to have what we're calling PDE, a performance package on the ZR1 that includes those cup tires. What we've done is we've packaged the cup tires with the closed ratio transmission that we've been offering on the ZR1. We packaged those together because those are the most track-oriented components. And then we've actually taken the transmission, the same transmission, but we've added taller gear ratios in 5th and 6th gear. Anybody who's driven a ZR1 knows you get out on the highway, and the closed ratio transmission is great for the track, but you end there with this 638 horsepower engine spinning at 2,400 RPM at 80 miles an hour. It almost seems like a waste. I mean, you can get much better fuel economy, less engine wear and so forth. If you had a 7th gear, it'd be awesome. You know, you could put it in 7th gear and then drop the engine rev. So what we've done is we keep the close spacing on the lower ratios, and then we offer taller ratios at the top end for highway cruising, and we're going to get 2 miles per gallon out of that. So we packaged all that up. We actually have some performance data on this slide relative to the cup tires. Now, in my history on cars, I remember a long time ago when a car that cornered at 0.8 Gs was considered exotic. And then it was a long time before a car started cornering at 0.9 something Gs. When we were working on the C6 to introduce it in 2004, our goal for the Z51 was a stratospheric 1G. That means when you're going around a corner, you have just as much force going sideways as gravity pulling you down. And that's was considered kind of the ultimate goal. And it took a long time for cars to creep up to that sort of magic 1G barrier. It was almost like the increments of improvement were coming slower and slower and slower. It's really hard to get there. I kind of liken it to in track, a 100-yard dash. The record for the 100-yard dash, it creeps down in hundredth of a second increments. That's until somebody like Usain Bolt comes along. I don't know how many of you guys remember Usain Bolt, the Jamaican, at the last Summer Olympics. All of a sudden he knocks off 1/10 of a second just because, you know, he's a unique species of human being. I mean, it's just amazing what he did. Well, These cup tires are doing that on the car. It's like a totally new species of car. We blasted through the 1G barrier, blasted through the 1.1G barrier, all the way up to our preliminary testing shows 1.13 Gs for a street car, which I would have bet 10 years ago would never be accomplished on a factory vehicle. We're still doing testing. The number may actually go up from there. We like to do testing a lot of production vehicles. We're still just starting to produce the production cars, doing the final tweaks. But right now, our first look at it is 1.13 Gs, which may put us the best cornering car in the world as a factory car. You got 50-50 weight distribution, you got the tires at the front and back, you got the best tire engineer in the world, Lee Willard, who did a presentation yesterday, spent an hour just talking about these tires. Working on the race cars on the weekend, working on the street car during the week, and putting all those lessons learned into this tire. That's why we're achieving this kind of performance. So it's about 8% more grip. As I said, usually these improvements come in 0.1%, maybe 1% at a time. Here we have an 8% improvement in grip. That correlates to 3 seconds a lap at VIR. And remember, this is over the PS2s. You know, these are kind of, the ZR1 is setting production car lap records all around the world. And now you got 3 seconds a lap faster at VIR. The stopping distance impresses me. 60 miles an hour, you imagine a car coming 60 miles an hour and coming to a dead rest in 100 feet is mind-boggling. When you're in the car, you're basically hanging from the seat belts. The G-forces are so intense as the car comes to a stop. Next slide. So, as I said, is Lee here? Lee Willard, are you here? Lee, could you stand up just for a sec? Just want to recognize Lee. How many of you folks saw Lee's seminar yesterday? Raise your hand. So quite a few. So you guys already saw the kind of passion and dedication that Lee brings to his job, and we're really lucky to have him working on our Corvette tires. And we will have him working on our next-gen tires as well. I can promise you that.